Today's yoga mobility drill is a highly requested one, hip distraction. I use this a lot myself for an old hip injury that gets aggravated, and I also give it to a lot of my clients. You're going to grab either a non-stretchy yoga strap or a thick band like I have here. Secure it to something solid. Conveniently in the gym, I have a squat rack, but you could also use something at home as long as it is not going to move on you. Or it's the right length where you can brace with your opposite foot, like I'm doing here. So once you have it stabilized, you're going to put the other end of the band around your upper thigh, right where it meets your hip. And then, just like in yoga, we call it wind removing pose, you're going to bring that knee into your chest and hang on to it. So I like the visual of a seesaw where the end of your thigh bone by your knee is moving towards your face, but the other end of your thigh bone at the hip socket needs to move away from your face. Now, it's really subtle and it happens deep inside your hip joint, but it's going to relieve a lot of pressure both on the front and the sides and even the back of your hip. So if you have low back pain that's coming from your SI joint, sometimes pelvic floor problems can benefit from this. And I'm playing with different angles. This twisted version is my favorite because when we go into the twist, most of the time the hip and the thigh will start to creep towards your face. And the tension on that band is really helping me lengthen the side of my waist and the side of the hip. So this should feel like the strap is really pulling that part of your thigh away from you. So there's a lot of different angles we can play with. The reclined one is my favorite to start out with, mainly because there's not a whole lot you have to do. And then this would be more advanced, kind of a frog setup. I have one leg out to the side. It's not quite 90 degrees. It's more like 45 to 60. You can play with that. There's not really a wrong way to do it here. But again, I have tension on that band, so I actually have to have my hands on the floor to keep it from pulling me back. Even more interesting and advanced would be to start to move your pelvis, like a little untuck and tuck of your tail or cat cow. Make sure you spend a few breaths in each of these positions.